I have a Native American prayer on my wall as soon as you walk in my door in my house. And one of the final verses of this prayer is why I bought this particular um, prayer all those years ago. I've had it for many, many, many years now. And the verse states the following, the last verse. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so that when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit may return to you without shame. And today, we are going to talk about the concept of integrity and how that relates to that verse. So, my name's Christy from Rising North, and today we're going to focus in on this very, very big and expansive term of integrity and what it looks like to live a life in integrity, and why it's so important and valuable. So first, I'd like you to really reflect on that. If you were reading that prayer yourself, make me come to you ready, always ready, with clean hands and straight eyes, so that my spirit may return to you without shame. When you die, what would allow you to be able to look yourself in the mirror before you take your final breath and leave this earth without shame attached? Would you be able to do that? And it, I think, benefits all of us to keep that awareness in the background at all times and know that eventually we will be taking our last breath on this journey and exiting this realm, this earthly realm. And how do we want to leave this earth? How do we wish to conduct ourselves while we are here? That's really important. And that's really the basis or the foundation of living a really great life, right? A life of integrity. What is integrity? In its most basic essence, it's having a high moral code, living by that high moral code, having high ethical standards, being truthful, being consistent, um, dependable, all those things, right? Well, I am going to shed a little bit of a different view on the concept of integrity. And I would talk to my students a lot when I was a classroom teacher about the concept of integrity. And integrity really, in its most basic, watered down form, is living in alignment with your truth and showing up in that. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I'm always talking about how important it is to show up truthfully and authentically and genuinely. And I really believe that a life that is rich in integrity, it's not what you think it might look like. And I think where we go wrong so much of the time with this concept is we think it's the people that look like they have it all together that have the most integrity. We think it's the people that based on we never see them really falter in their decision making. We look up to them as pillars in our community, and we view them as almost holy in a certain way. And I want to give a little bit of a, I want to put a little bit of a twist on that. What if living in integrity actually is not faking it until you make it? You know that saying, fake it until you make it? That saying never resonated with me. my whole life it hasn't resonated with me. And I've heard it over and over and over again. And some of my favorite speakers in the world talk about, how do you change your vibration? How do you change your patterns and your negative belief limitation, your limiting beliefs and all those things? They say it's through faking it until you make it. Fake it until you make it. I don't believe that. And here's why. I believe that if you are truly living in integrity, it means admitting when you don't know something. It means admitting when you're unsure, or when you are wobbly, or when you don't really know what your next step is, right? A life filled with integrity looks different to different people. So, whatever this looks like for you, whatever will allow you to leave this life with clean hands and straight eyes, and knowing that you did the best, the very best that you could here on this earth, in this existence, then that's the version of integrity you should follow. Your own personal vision of what integrity looks like for you. And the reason I do want to explore a little bit about the reason why faking it until you make it doesn't make sense to me. Here's why. Energetically, right? And anybody out there who's sensitive to energy knows this. Your body is constantly emitting energy. It's your truth beyond your words. It and if you're living, in my opinion, in a place of integrity, your energetic frequency is matching your words. So, in other words, how does this look? This looks like you stop pretending. I feel like our society really encourages us to pretend a lot. Like, say we're in a bad mood or say we're having a bad day. It encourages us to hide that and push it down and act like if somebody asks you, "How are you today?" you are instructed to say, "I'm good," even though inside you are not good at all, even though inside you're completely out of alignment and you're really struggling that particular day. So, my version of integrity is you fully own whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life. This is not people pleasing whatsoever. And people are not used to it, right? So I'm going to give you an example from a previous relationship. I mean, I have a million examples of this. And this is a topic that I'm really interested in and I have a lot of passion about, as you can probably tell. If you are in a romantic relationship with someone, right? And you are struggling, maybe to get past patterns, maybe it is your emotions are fluctuating a lot, right? Within the connection for whatever the reason. Whatever it is, you have two choices. You can either pretend and put on an act and hope that everything eventually will align properly to benefit the relationship to the fullest degree possible and to please your partner, or you can show up in your messy embodiment of self, which is your truest version of self. And there's not incongruency between your energy that you are showing up in and your words, right? So, in my humble opinion, because this is only my opinion, that can be trusted. I trust people who show up when they don't know, when they're unsure, when they're wavering, when they're weak, when they're falling down. If they can show up in that messiness, I am easily able to trust that person because I know that I want to think about how to say this. I can trust that person because I know that they are not approval seeking. If they were approval seeking and they were wary in their own self-confidence and their own person, they would show up in a way that tried to mask their true feelings and where they truly are. When someone is showing up in integrity, in full embodiment, I can't stress this enough. They are they are not going to look like they always have it together. The people that are presenting as if their personal life is always put together, their social life is always put together, their work life is always put together, and they're showing up in this version like they everything has a perfectionist kind of version, right? Where they everything's always good, everything's always honky dory, nothing's ever collapsing or needs readjusting or needs realignment. That is a clear indication that their version of integrity is specifically linked to pleasing others and how other people interpret them, how other people receive them, is all bundled up into their version of integrity. What I am going to challenge you to do when you're looking at your own version of integrity is I would challenge you to look at this piece of it. What would a life filled with integrity look like if you weren't giving your energy away to other people's perception of you, other people's opinion of you, other people's judgment of you? What would it look like then? And as somebody who has gone from, I was the, and if you watch my previous videos, you already know this. I used to be the biggest people pleaser ever. I had the best reputation. I mean, I had a really stellar reputation. In my career, I had a stellar reputation among my friend groups. I had a really good reputation. And the reason why, boiled down in its most primal definition, the reason why everyone loved me so much, and I hate to say it like this, but I'm going to speak very truthfully because I'm living a life of integrity now. So this is how I show up. The reason why everybody liked me so much, and the reason why everybody said, "Oh, Christy's so nice. Christy's so nice. Oh, we love Christy." The reason why is because I worked hard to make sure I was never disturbing other people. I was conflict avoidant. I believed that integrity meant to not disrupt anybody for any reason whatsoever. You can't have both. You cannot have both. Once in a while, once in a while, sure, but you can. But so much of the time, you cannot have both. You cannot please everybody else and please yourself. Because where are those emotions going that you are not expressing and that you are tamping down inside of self? Where are they going? They're accumulating is what they're doing inside your body. All those times that you fake it until you make it. What's happening energetically within the body? What's happening is there's a disruption and a blockage of energetic flow that is slowly but surely um, creating a block inside of your body due to the fact that there's not a frequency, there's not an alignment of truth flowing through. So, as a Reiki practitioner, as somebody who works with energy and does energy work, as an intuitive energy healer, I can tell you that I see this so often. People that are tamping things down in order to please other people and in order to be liked and in order to be accepted. And my question is, at what is the price tag on that? What really is the price tag at the end of the day on showing up to please other people and at the expense of yourself? And it's tricky. And the reason why is because if you are showing up in your fullness and in your truth and in your divinity, that means you are also showing up in your humanness, your imperfections, your bad days, your bad moments, your true mood. You are showing up as you really are. It's all in alignment. It's the same thing when I work with animals because that's one of the that's I work with animals as well. When I work with dogs, right? They sense your energy. It's the same thing with people. We sense other people's energy, believe it or not. We all do. We take it in. If it's out of alignment and out of integrity with the person's actions and their words that they're speaking, we feel that and we pick up on that. And that feels imbalanced to us. It feels not right to us. And we typically don't want to really stay in that energy. So I created this video just to bring your attention to a different aspect of integrity and a different way maybe of viewing the art of integrity. It's an art form, it's practiced, it is probably never mastered. It is the easiest thing to do, and it is the hardest thing to do because in its fullest essence, it is showing up truthfully always. And that is showing up truthfully when you make a mistake, showing up truthfully when you have to take accountability for something that's embarrassing to you, that you have to take accountability for. That means that means owning how you really feel when somebody asks you how you are. It doesn't mean you have to give them a full explanation. But if they ask how you are doing and you are not doing well, that means that your words mirror your energetic field, which means I'm struggling today. I'm having a rough day. If that's the truth for you. So it's another way of living and it's not widely seen in our society. It's not widely it's not really even something that people would what's the word? Tell me the word. Um, it's not something that people would probably really even want to stand behind. And I'm not even sure if you watching this really want to stand behind this idea or encourage this. That's the word, encourage. A lot of people probably wouldn't even want to encourage this because they're afraid. They're too afraid of really showing up in that full expression. And I'm gonna, of course, because as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told my students, is that that makes sense to other people. That makes sense energetically. It aligns. People can understand when other people are having a bad day. People can understand when you made a mistake and you really messed up on something. People can understand that much more than you covering up and masking and pretending and creating a facade to hide behind. And then when you go home, it all comes out at your husband or your wife. Um, if you are aligning all day long and you are truthfully showing up, I can promise you that you're not going to go home with that kind of energy to your spouse or your partner because your energetic flow is in sync and in harmony. And the body is going to thank you. Your spirit is going to thank you. Everybody who interacts with you is going to thank you, even if in the moment they don't know how to respond to you, if that makes any sense. So please leave your comments on integrity in the comment section if you are willing to. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you stayed all the way through till the very end. Bye.